With so much uncertainty that is going on right now here in the Vancouver real estate market, there is also a ton of opportunity in some major segments where I think buyers out there who are savvy will be able to make some very strong purchases that are going to really pay off in the next couple years. We already know what's going on with the tariffs. We already know that the Bank of Canada will have to offset those tariffs with lower interest rates. And with the lack of construction, and with us being in an environment of peak construction, with the lack of permits at 40 or 50 year highs, we know already, and I've discussed it in previous videos, that there's going to be another housing shortage in the next couple of years. But right now the market is soft. The condo market, especially in 2 to 5 year old buildings, and the luxury market, very soft. There are a lot of sellers who are losing a lot of money on pre-sales that they purchased in around 2021, 2022, especially in that luxury field. And then as we look, the west side of Vancouver, and I have some interesting data that has been found out about what's going on in that market, is extremely soft. There's hundreds of options out there on the west side. It's sitting at about a 6% sales ratio, so heavy buyer market conditions. So if you're looking for opportunity, there's always opportunity when there is chaos, and that's what we're seeing, because there's just so much stuff going around on a regional level, municipal level, global and federal level as well. So I'm going to try to break through the noise here, give you some rough data, not so much interpretation, to help you with your decision making, whether you're a seller or a buyer. Like I said, great upsizing market right now if you're looking to get into the market for a first time buyer, or if you're wanting to get into that detached market. I really implore you to take a look at this today to help you with your decision making. So let's get into the numbers here. You can see right here, sales fall, inventory rises in Vancouver, and seasonally adjusted home sales across Metro Vancouver fell an estimated 20% month over month in February, the largest decline since May of 2022. So you can see this chart here, and what I find interesting, and we'll go over it later, with the monthly home sales here, this line, which is essentially a flat line because it's yo-yoed a little bit, and we're still at these same markers since the early part of 2023, really falls in line with the stagnation of pricing across Metro Vancouver that has been a flat line. And then with here, with the monthly changes in home sales, again, this just shows you the yo-yo effect. There's been more declines and higher declines in terms of sales than there has been the appreciation of sales over the course since 2022. And when I bring up these data points here, when it comes to the HPI, which is the home pricing index right here, the Vancouver MLS HPI, similar to the consumer price index, this is what the Greater Vancouver Board uses to show you the home values. You can see that at the same time where we've seen those sales essentially yo-yo and not make any real gains, pricing has stayed stagnant right here. And I actually think this is a testament to the Vancouver market, despite all the market conditions of us going through COVID and then inflation, these interest rates being on 20-year highs. We are very lucky that the market has stayed flat. I think that is just due to the fact that we've always had supply issues. But I think it's fantastic if you're a homeowner that you've been able to keep your property pricing staying at par and not dropping like so many people thought the market was going to drop 10, 20, 30%. It has still stayed strong. And as we've gotten out of the shadows here, I do expect in the next couple of years that we're finally going to break out to the top and create some new all-time highs. I've discussed it in past videos. We're 40, 50 years behind in terms of the record number of low issuings of permits for construction. There's also a lot of data out there that shows that we are at peak levels of construction as well. So it is pointing to, in major cities, especially Toronto and here in Vancouver, that we're going to have another housing shortage in the next couple years. So right now, where things are very soft and flat, it is a good opportunity to get in because there is going to be a crunch. And I think in the next 2 to 3 years, and especially with these tariffs, that it's going to force the Bank of Canada to drop those rates even further with their policy rate. It's going to create more competition in the market in the not too distant future. These two charts right here at the top just shows you exactly Vancouver total dwellings under construction here, and then Vancouver dwellings under construction, the specifics. And you can see there's been a huge run up ever since 2021 in terms of total dwellings under construction. And keep in mind, even with that huge uptick, this is one of the biggest bull runs that we've seen when it comes to construction. It still hasn't been enough to drop pricing, because that's ultimately what we need. If you're one of those that is waiting for pricing to drop, we need construction to outpace the amount of sales and inventory on the market, and that just has never been able to catch up. And now you can see here over the last couple months, it's stalled out here, and it has broken down a little bit. And with the issues of, or the lack of issues of permits with multiplexes and single family homes and whatnot, and a focus here in the orange of purpose-built rentals, that is going to create some problems here in the future. But you can see here, condo construction has dropped here the last couple months. It's starting to head downward. The orange here is the purpose-built rentals that have been really pushed. It's still on the uptick. And then you can see here, single families, just a flat line essentially since 1990. It's stayed pretty much right on par for the last 35 years, and it's going to continue to go downward as more of these multiplexes, duplexes, triplexes are get put up, as well as all these condos. And when we look at some of these purpose-built rental numbers here, you can see here when it says construction activity ticks up on rentals, the number of dwellings under construction across Vancouver rose 1% month over month in January due to a 3.4% jump in rental construction. There are now 22,600 rental units in construction pipeline across the metro region, which is plenty to keep a lid on rent growth through the rest of the year and probably into 2026. So if you are an investor or someone who's looking to get into the investing market, these are things that you're not really wanting to see. If I were an investor myself, I probably would look more so on trying to get some detached property or a duplex. The rental market is starting to soften, and with these purpose-built rentals going up and up, it's just going to create more competition. And we also know with the lack of international students and the cutback on immigration, a lot of these rentals aren't going to be in competition like they were previously that we've seen for the last several years. So you got to be really careful on that investor space here in Vancouver. So make sure that you do your due diligence. If you want further information, all my information's in the description below. You can book a strategy call with me at any time to go a little bit deeper into these numbers. So when I talked right off the bat about some opportunities and knowing where they were, I mentioned Vancouver's Westside, the detached market, sitting at about 6% sales ratio. This was a very interesting chart here, and it's talking about the foreign bid slowdown. And this is specifically talking about Vancouver West and the Westside detached market. And you can see here on the chart in terms of sales, 2016, we know that essentially that 2010 to 2020 was a huge influx of foreign money coming from China and Asian countries into the Vancouver marketplace. From 2020 to 2030, it was more prognosticated that there's going to be a lot more tech and educational money, a lot coming from India, but at a much lower price point. A lot of people from China have already gotten their money into the system several years ago. And with China's economy not doing so well, it's starting to reflect in some of these places where they were parking their money. So right here, this individual here from Edge Analytics stated that they've been tracking these sales numbers in both West Vancouver and Vancouver West for years. And it's really important because it was talking about these are proxies for capital flows out of China. So he states here, note that demand peaked in the 2014 to 16 period, where we now know was a period of strong capital flight. Curiously, sales fell very sharply last month, down 42% year over year to hit the lowest February level since at least 2012. Given that the Chinese economy continues to wobble, I wonder if we aren't seeing a second leg lower in foreign demand. So we already have the foreign buyer ban. They can't operate in here, or those who are abroad cannot operate in Canada until 2027. But if the foreign market starts to exit, is that part of the reason why we're seeing an influx in inventory and sales as well, and with the west side being so soft. So this is definitely an area that you're really wanting to look at. If you're specifically looking at the detached market and good value, there is a ton of opportunity right now on Vancouver's west side in very good areas that have been predominantly very strong and competitive. The next charts I wanted to bring up too that affect the market here in Vancouver are the delinquency payments when it comes to people's mortgages here in Vancouver. The top left chart here is from the Royal Bank, and you can see that essentially since mid 2022 it's been a straight run in terms of mortgage delinquencies for the Royal Bank, and that is not a good sign to see. On the other hand, here this is CIBC. Though their run up wasn't as severe, you can see that they did have a pretty good run up here from 2023 into 2024. It's dropped a little bit, but now it's peaking up here again. So we're starting to see some more things, with these mortgage renewals coming up. People are trying to make it as best they can, but if they can't hold on, they're going to be forced to sell. So with all of this being said, with this data, you can see that with the mortgage renewals that are coming up this year and next year, there are going to be people that are going to be in a financial position to sell. If you find listings where people are forced to sell for financial reasons, you're going to get good value on those properties. We've already outlined that the Vancouver West market is extremely soft. We've highlighted it with some of these charts as well, showing that the sales are dropping. There's not as much interest, and that's why there's just a ton of inventory that is just sitting. If you're wanting more detailed breakdown, book that discovery call with me in the description below. We can bring up these numbers, some other analytical data that I have to help you with your due diligence. And this is not all doom and gloom. If you are a seller, we are still seeing properties move and move quickly if you're priced right and it's a good product. I just sold a property in Dunbar. We were under contract in 8 days. A lot of buyers are out there ready to transact. And next week, when the Bank of Canada is having their next policy rate announcement, I shouldn't say for sure, but they price in now a 75% chance of another quarter point drop. Every time these drops in the policy rate are coming into effect, it's going to give more consumer confidence out there into the marketplace. But right now, I do think that across the Vancouver market, and especially in a lot of these pockets that I've just highlighted, the luxury condo market between 2 to 5 years old, downtown Vancouver, as well as the Westside market, the Detached specifically, there's a lot of soft spots and there's room for a lot of opportunity as well. And until next time, my name's Kyle Mark, your Vancouver realtor, and whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or relocate to my beautiful city, Vancouver, I'm here to help you every step along the way. Till the next one, take care.